Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I thought I would do a walkthrough of June, as today is Sunday, the last Sunday of June, and we're about to roll into July. And so I thought I'd show you how my planner looked for June and what's happening in July with my planner setup, what I'm going to be doing, what I'm not going to be doing, all the things I thought I would share with you. So let's start first with a look at June. I'm back in the black Vanderspec. I was traveling earlier this month. We were on vacation, and I just felt like this would be a little more durable, not as sensitive to scratches and things like that. And honestly, I just missed it. And so the Gilio is put away safely. I'll probably pull it back out soon, but right now I'm happy using this. So nothing significant has changed in terms of, you know, my very basic setup here. Cocoa Daisy note paper here. This is some grid paper that I cut out of a journal that I'm not using because the back is blank and the front is grid, which I do not understand. But anyway, I cut it out, I punched it, and I'm using it for things like grocery lists and errands and stuff like that. And I can stick it in the rings if I need to, but if not, I don't care about throwing it away because the back is blank, which is crazy. Anyway, enough of that. Just minor changes, updates to my setups. I just thought I'd show you. In terms of the front, I printed this beautiful image on some vellum and laminated it to put in the front just because I thought it was so pretty. This came from a Facebook group. I think it's called Journaling Home. I'll link below just so you'll know where it came from, but it's just so pretty and I really liked it, and I thought having it on vellum and having the other flowers kind of show behind it was pretty, and I wanted to protect it, so I laminated it. I didn't want to just punch the vellum. Still using my thin scrapbook paper dividers. These are some Post-its that I made from SM Plans. She had a Post-it set, which her florals are just so pretty. So I just printed, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them and stuck them here because I think they're so pretty. I love her florals. That's about it. Still have my groceries in the front, notes in the back, which that can be tossed because we're already home. But again, SM Plans. So that's what most of that is. Then the plan ahead stuff hasn't really changed. There's my look at June, very functional, not a whole lot in terms of decoration, just a little bit of Cocoa Daisy for fun, mostly function. Here is July. I did a little bit more decorating just because I was in the mood yesterday. And I love these florals for Cocoa Daisy for this month. Every time I'm about ready to cancel my Cocoa Daisy subscription and I'm like, I don't need any more, I have enough, she comes out with something this pretty like this, and I just am like, nope, sorry, staying with Cocoa Daisy, and I'll just continue to accumulate all the stuff. I am trying, if you watched my last video, I talked about hoarding and not hoarding. I am trying to use more. You'll see that I'm trying to use more of my stuff because what's the point in getting it if I don't use it and enjoy it? So I am trying to do that this month. That's my goal for July. Anyway, flipping over to June, this is from the dashboard kit for Cocoa Daisy, and even though it's a personal size and so it's too skinny for the A6, I didn't want to waste these since I'm getting them, and I didn't want to not get them because they're just so pretty every month. So I decided to make it a cover page each month, and I'm just using a tab at the top so it's easy to find. But the long-term thought is that when I archive these, I'll have all of these at the top in my archive of rings, and I can easily find the month that I'm looking for, because right now I don't have any tab for the month. So that was my thought. Couldn't tab it over here because it wouldn't stick out far enough, so I put it at the top. So let's look at June. Here is an SM Plans tracker, which I saw her using earlier this month, and I thought it was a really neat and well thought out tracker. I also like the way that Sierra was using it, and so I bought it. and I never got around to setting it up for the month of June. So it's a beautiful tracker. It's just not utilized for the month of June. So I'll probably white this out and use this for another month. But I have grand plans for this. I'll show you what I'm going to try to do in July and see how it works. Here's just a blank note paper. I always have a couple extra for the month. I'll probably stick that somewhere else and use it again. This was my to-do list for the month of June. Got a little bit done, not as much as I had planned, but you know, when you're on vacation for a week, that kind of messes up all of your to-do list, which is a good thing because vacations are important. So then we move into my beloved DIY fish inserts that I keep telling myself, just stay with what works. This works, you like it, it's very functional, and I just use the heck out of these things this month, you'll see. So again, my meals are over here, appointments are over here, anything important I highlight in yellow. The rest of this is color coding. Pink is my daughter, so you'll see a lot of pink in here because of, you know, all of her activities. My trackers, my to-do list and meals for the week, and then I go into the dailies. So the way this particular DIY fish insert, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, it has a Hobonichi style weekly, the week's style weekly, and then a Hobonichi style daily. So I always put my time tasks or my time things at the top, my tasks. Then if I have any journaling, I'd put it in the middle here, and then any TV or movies we watch and what we had for dinner. And then I think I love about rings is I can stick stuff in wherever I need to. So that's what this was just a note paper that conveniently is A6 size. So I've been using those a lot. So yeah, I actually tore this page when I was cutting it, and I decided I'm just going to embrace imperfection. I didn't reprint, I just left it. So these are my dailies. You can see that I've been doing more and more journaling in the pages. I've been feeling that call to do more journaling. Here's the next week. You can see my daughter. My daughter's very busy. I'll be so glad when she's driving. This is the second week of June. Just flipping through here. And if you haven't seen my other videos, I do put washi on the weekly view, so it's easy for me to find in the overall scheme of the month. I can flip easily to find the week. That's why you see the washi there, and that's why I don't use washi on the dailies, because I don't want it to be confused to me. So here's my packing list for the beach, some ideas for food. And then this was when we were on vacation, so no to-do list. I just did a lot of journaling about what happened while we were at the beach. And here, you know, to do nothing. I'm on vacation. Yes, thank goodness. Then just continuing through, this was this past week. And this is today. And I'm still using my Today tab. This is a shopping list for BJ's, which is kind of like Sam's. And my running menu plan is over here. This is stuff my daughter needs to do, so I kind of have it as a reminder over here. Still have my reminder here that says rings work for you. Quit using other planners. This little note has saved me. I have squirreled a couple times, but I have not actually set anything up. Now I need to do better about not buying the things I squirrel and then having to resell them, but I'm getting there. Here is this coming week, and the way DIY Fish is set up is that this is the last 3 days of June, and then she doesn't date the July. So these were blank and I wrote the date in, and the July pages would have these three. That's the only thing I don't like about the DIY Fish pages. I wish that numbering would continue. But what I have found works for me is that I write these in, and then in June, all I carry is the current month in my planner, right? So in June, if I'm planning this week out, I know, you know, anything I need to write here, I can write it. Then when I make the transition over to the next month, like for this week, I wrote weeks and weeks ago. I didn't put any more to-dos on this week's when I was setting up for this coming week. I said, see the July pages, because I'll just take all of this out probably Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and archive June. And I wanted my weekly to-dos in July so that I would have them, because the majority of the week is in July. If the week had, or the month had ended like on Thursday or Friday or even Saturday, I would have probably not used the July pages. It's just wherever the majority of the week falls, that tends to be the page that I use. So yeah, this is next week. Not a whole lot yet, because the way I plan is the months are long range, far reaching, big picture. You know, if I'm making a doctor appointment or planning a trip, that goes in the monthly. The weeks get planned out at the beginning of the month, and I continue to add to them on a regular basis. The days I generally don't plan out until the day before. So that you know, it just goes down in granularity from months to weeks to days. And I try to keep things from the day perspective, either the night before or the day of, and that way I'm not crossing things out, rescheduling things or whatever. This reflects reality when I'm looking at it. So this will get done probably tonight. Anyway, another thing, and I put a post-it note here so I would remember, that I found on the Journaling Home group, or in her, it might have been in her Etsy. I'll link it below. But she had this really cool end of month journaling reflection, which I really liked. One of the things that I want to do in July and for the second half of this year is more introspection, more journaling. I have just literally been in survival mode for most of this year, probably last year too, but especially since January, when my stepdad passed away and then my husband was sick and had surgery, and I've just been, you know, barely keeping my head above water. So for the second half of the year, I want to spend a little bit more time, I guess, focusing inward, focusing on myself, you know, just kind of self-care, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of that. So I found this and I thought this is just some great prompts. And so I want to use this. I'm not sure I'm going to do it in my rings. I think what I'm going to do is do this in a separate journal, but I printed it out and put it in here, and again, printed it on vellum and laminated it because I want to have it at the end of each month. I'm just going to keep it at the end of each month to remind me to do this and to remind me to be thinking about these things. And that's my plan for the second half of the year, is to go through at a minimum these questions on a monthly basis, but I really like to be more intentional with my journaling. She also had some additional, let me show you, inserts here that are things here that I printed out. This one was about planning, priority planning, and then this one was about reminders. And right now this is just stuck back in the back in my quote-unquote me section. There's something sticky there. But I think I'm probably going to move this up into my daily planning area as well, just to remind me. But I really liked these, so I printed this out as well. And I need to get a new printer. My printer is about shot, so it's kind of blurry. But yeah, really liked the suggestions and the ideas that she had on these pages. So moving on into July, so that's all of June, and like I said, this whole section of June will come out and be archived. One thing I did this month that I just did out of necessity, not intentionally, but the paper that I had was some inexpensive paper that I picked up actually, I think at the drugstore, not the higher quality paper that I usually use, and it was fine, it was functional, but I didn't like the way it felt when I was writing on it. I dealt with it, you know, I'm a paper snob, but obviously I made it work. So I'm just about finished with that ream of paper, and my plan next month, probably for August, is to, hopefully I'll be through with it and have better paper, but I just decided that I wasn't going to stress about it. I have enough other stuff to stress about, so I just used it. But all of that to say, it was a lot thicker than I'm used to because of the paper. Anyway, here's July. Again, this is a Cocoa Daisy dashboard. I just trimmed a little bit off the top and bottom to make it fit and put my tab at the top. This is that was a downloadable from Cocoa Daisy that I printed on vellum just because I thought it was beautiful and I wanted to have it in here to look at. No function, just pretty. This is that SM Plans printable, that the tracker. And so one of the things, as you know, if you look at my weekly, I do track here weekly. But what I want to do is start getting a more holistic view of trends. So I put these here for July. I'm going to try to track this, and I may actually end up filling some of this out in retrospect, because I probably will still track these things daily, because if I don't, I forget a lot of times to do them. So I like to have these on my weekly view, but I'd also like to be able to see at a glance for the whole month, you know, how many times did I exercise? How many times did I journal? That's a new habit that I want to start. So I want to track and kind of keep myself accountable to that. I'm also wanting to track some things I'm trying to do around, you know, changing up my nail routine, that kind of thing. And then my daughter is learning how to drive, so praise the Lord. And so I'm trying to track how many days she drives, so I can make sure that, you know, a week doesn't go by without her doing some type of driving. The other side that I'm going to be tracking more around self-care is, and this was what I got the idea from Sierra, is tracking the hours of sleep that I get, and then tracking mood. I had thought about color coding this, in each one of these having a color, but then I thought, I'm not going to carry around a bunch of colored pens with me, and I'm very happy just having my one pen here in my planner. So I'm just going to put a dot, you know, in the day to correspond with what the mood is, and then, you know, hopefully I'll be able to see a trend, and hopefully most of it's up in the high side, but we'll just see. So that's my plan here with this tracker for July. That's what I was going to do for June, but it did not work very well. One of the things that I also did in June, and I'm going to continue in July, is in June, let me show you on the weekly page here, I picked a colored pen, this teal color, and a washi, which I've been doing the washi every month. Usually it's Cocoa Daisy washi. This was not. But I pick a color pen and I pick a color washi. So this month I picked the purples from this because it's just so pretty. And so I sat down and identified, of my plethora of pens, the purples that I have, which I have too many purple pens apparently, because I have found, I don't know, what is that, 10 purple pens? Anyway, I put them all in a coffee mug and I have them on my desk so that I can use them throughout the month. So that's just a little something to make me happy. Again, I'm trying to use what I have and not just get stuff and not use it. So I thought if I had it in front of me on my desk, I would be inclined to use it. And I'll use it with work stuff as well as personal all month. So the color for July will be purple, which feels weird because normally I do red, white, and blue for July for the 4th. So going with purple feels strange in my brain because to me, purple is April. Don't ask me why, but April is purple. And so this will be an interesting experiment to see if I make it in purple all month, but that's my plan. So that's why this is written in purple here. All of that to say that the other thing that I did was I picked some stamps this month, and I decided to do some stamps as well. So I decided if purple was the color, I would do purple ink for my stamps. So this is the color that I chose. This is Hydrangea from Close to My Heart. These are very old. I don't even know if this color still exists with them, but at one time I had every color Close to My Heart made. This is one of them. So I used these stamps, which are from Cocoa Daisy. I don't even know how old they are, but I love their stamps. Her stamps are so nice. So these are just really beautiful script. And so this is my monthly to-do list. So instead of using stickers, I stamped it. And then this is all for planning for my daughter's birthday party. These will be notes for the month, and then I go right into the weeks. And so what you'll see here is that I use the stamps. Instead of writing it, I use the stamps in the purple. I didn't have one that said dinner. Well, let me rephrase that. There is one in here that says meal plan, but last night when I was doing this sitting in my chair in the living room, I didn't have this pack with me, so I didn't know that. Had I seen that and known that, I would have used that down here too, but oh well. It's stamped. I'm not going to worry about it. So this is my monthly setup. This already I don't like. I wish I had written it over here. I don't know why I did it that way. This is how I did it last month, and I like it much better, but it's only for this week. I didn't do it any other week, so I can live with it for a week. This is one of the die cuts that Coco Daisy had. And then this is this week. Except for, I just realized that I did all of this. This was tomorrow, but this is Thursday. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. Whether I'm going to redate these 2 pages, reprint, I don't know. I had fun stamping. I went a little crazy stamping. I didn't go any further than this, but I have a feeling I'm going to reprint at least the first week of July because this should be on Monday and Tuesday. So I did my stamping here, and did my planning ahead, just, you know, big picture stuff in the weeks. Not a whole lot. I didn't even put my lines here for my menu plan. I did here. I was watching TV. Can you tell? I wasn't 100% focused. So anyway, that's what July looks like. And like I said, after Wednesday, the June stuff will come out, and so my rings won't be quite so stuffed. But right now it's got June and July in here, and so it's pretty chunky. As far as anything else with my planning, nothing's really changed in the back. Nothing to show you there. But what I also was going to mention is that this little guy still hasn't gone away. This is my weeks, and what I'm doing, because I'm not actively using it every day, is I am sitting down about once every other week and just putting in the major events, things that happened, so that I have a record in some form in one place. Like this has the whole year. And so even though I'm not, you know, using it like I was using it at the beginning of the year, I was using the snot out of it. Now I'm just using it more for record keeping, but I wanted to have the whole year in one place. So at the end of December, I will have all of 2021 in this little record. And if I need to look back at something, I'll have this. And then the other newcomer to the scene is this guy. And you may have heard me in an earlier video talk about this. I think it was back in February or March, that I was trying to, or had bought earlier this year. I had bought a Hobonichi cousin, the full cousin, and I was going to use this and trying to make it work. And this guy is just too thick. This is probably the third one that I have bought, and I think I've only ever used one for more than, you know, a few weeks in the full cousin size once, because it's just, to me, not comfortable to write in because it's so thick. So while I was at the beach late one night, laying in bed, ordered this in the Avec size. So my plan is, as you're shaking your head and going, what the heck, what are you doing? My plan is this. This is still my workhorse main everyday planner. Nothing's changing here. This works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. My plan with this is going to be to use it for memory keeping, journaling, photos, memorabilia, that kind of stuff, because that's the one thing I miss about not using Hobonichi this year, is having that record. And this is not big enough to me to do that in. As far as width, that's one thing I've learned with the A6 is I like a wider area to write. So this starts this week in July. My plan is to use this, I think, as an index. I'm not sure yet. This, I'm going to capture big events. So this will be retrospective, not planning forward, but looking back. What, you know, big things happen, trips, events, birthdays, things like that. And then I don't know yet what I'm going to do with the weeks. I actually posted in one of the Hobonichi groups asking for suggestions. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because if I'm not planning in this, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, and I may just leave it blank until I figure that out, because I don't necessarily need a record of, you know, hour by hour in a weekly view. And then the days here is going to be just purely a journal that I would write in. So that's what I'm thinking about doing for the month of, or the second half of the year, is using this as just a record keeper and a journal. Yeah, so we'll see how that works out. I think that's everything I wanted to share with you guys. Sorry this was so long. I did not plan to get so long-winded, but I hope this was entertaining and enjoyable for you guys, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.